Thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing.
On top of detaining 12 Palestinians across the West Bank in overnight raids, Israeli forces have just this morning demolished the homes of 4 Palestinian terrorists involved in the killing of Israeli border police officers and soldiers. 3 of the terrorists whose homes were destroyed were responsible for the shooting and stabbing attack in Jerusalem in June, where Officer Hadass Malka was killed. The 4th terrorist fatally wounded soldier El-Khay Teharlev in April in a car ramming attack. The first 3 Palestinian attackers are all from the village of Deir Abu Mashal. The 4th lives in Silwat. Both villages are located in the West Bank near Ramallah. Demolition orders like these are a common response to terrorism in the Palestinian territories and East Jerusalem, but they are highly controversial. Opponents to the law that allows the IDF to target homes and land say it's collective punishment, but Israel argues that it's both to punish any and all who assisted or took part in a violent act, and as a deterrent to future attacks. In other terror deterrent-related news, the chief of the IDF Southern Command, Major General Eyal Zamir, has just issued a surprisingly revealing piece of intel. He released the location of 2 alleged Hamas tunnel sites constructed underneath a civilian apartment building. He then threatened to blow both structures up should Hamas strike up another conflict with Israel. Zamir went on to say that, quote, "The intelligence that we have shows that Hamas is operating in a civilian arena and under the cover of a civilian population, preparing its infrastructure for its next conflict within the civilian arena. Their goal, of course, is to make it more difficult for us to operate," end quote. While the fact that Hamas works under civilian cover is not news, what was striking about the statement was that Zamir warned that these targets are legitimate military targets, and that anyone inside them are endangered. Finally, Major General Zamir finished his comments with maybe the greatest revelation of all, that Israel was preparing for a possible conflict too, in the form of a 37-mile above and underground barrier around the Strip. Though the project will only be 100% complete in 2 years, Zamir says the new fencing will have high-tech systems and will be able to detect, damage, and neutralize attack tunnels. Israel's travel ban on supporters of the BDS movement is still garnering a lot of negative attention, but not only from where you might expect. 200 American rabbis from the liberal movements of American Judaism have now signed a letter opposing the ban, calling it anti-democratic and demanding its dissolvement. The letter comes as a response to a recent incident where Rabbi Elisa Weiss of the Jewish Voice for Peace organization was prevented from boarding an Israeli-bound flight. JVP is an established supporter of the International Boycott Initiative, but the rabbis aren't concerned with that. The letter reads, quote, "We hold diverse opinions on BDS. Even though many of us have substantive differences with Rabbi Weiss and other rabbinic colleagues who support the BDS movement in some or all of its forms, we believe that the decision to bar Rabbi Weiss from visiting Israel is anti-democratic and desecrates our vision of a diverse Jewish community that holds multiple perspectives," end quote. The anti-BDS travel bill has stopped many people from entering the country since its inception into law, but Rabbi Weiss was among the first Jews, let alone a rabbi, to have fallen victim to the legislature. As of Wednesday, 212 rabbis have signed onto the open letter. Speaking at the Likud rally last night that was thrown in his honor, Prime Minister Netanyahu took to the stage, proclaimed his love for the people and distrust of the media. The rally was organized to garner support for the beleaguered Israeli premier, who along with his wife Sarah Netanyahu are under investigation by the state and facing possible indictments. The most relevant cases are cases 1000 and 2000, which range in charges from misuse of public funds and graft to bribery, fraud, and breach of trust. Despite the serious investigations, most of the 3,000 attendees inside the exhibition hall were hanging on Netanyahu's every word, cheering for the political leader and attacking the media that was present there with chants and insults. Their sentiments were reflective of the Prime Minister himself, who said, quote, "The thought police in the media work full-time to set the agenda, and woe to anyone who veers away from it. We know that the left and the media, that they're the same thing, is on an obsessive witch hunt against me and my family with the goal of achieving a coup against the government," end quote. The crowd chanted "Down with the media" in response. After buying out Israeli autonomous tech firm Mobileye, Intel is now setting out to release a fleet of self-driving cars. The Mobileye deal cost about $15 billion, and it now looks like Intel will be getting its money's worth, since the tech giant announced it will be releasing the cars for testing in Europe, Israel, and the United States later this year. Mobileye co-founder Amnon Shashua, who will be running the tests for Intel, said, quote, "Our goal is to develop autonomous vehicle technology that can be deployed anywhere," end quote. The test fleet being used in public spaces is to that end. Amnon also said, quote, Building cars and testing them in real-world conditions provides immediate feedback and will accelerate delivery of technologies and solutions for highly and fully autonomous vehicles, end quote. Google, Apple, Tesla, and Daimler are just some of the other companies trying to get in on the autonomous vehicle tech boom, and it seems like with these competitors on the starting line, we'll have driverless cars all over in no time.
That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.